Hey guys, welcome to another segment of the Grind Never Stops podcast. As you guys all know, in my last segment, we did the first round for the Eastern Conference playoff predictions in the NBA playoffs. As it's already started, and we'll also in this segment we'll only do the first round for the Western Conference as well. And this is how it's gonna work. Once the first one is over, we will make our original prediction for the second round for the East and West, and then we'll do the official predictions of the second round because we also did our predictions for the semifinals, for the conference finals, and for the NBA finals. And so, in this way, we'll only do round by round as the rounds go by in real time. So we'll start. Well, now we'll go to the Western Conference, and before we start, we want to thank everyone who's tuned in to all of our social media, of all our podcast and music platforms. We want to thank your support as you guys have supported us from day one. So we're gonna start with the Western Conference. So the number one seeded Utah Jazz will play the eighth seeded Red Hot Memphis Grizzlies. And what I say is by Red Hot is they're coming off a huge victory in Golden State as they were able to beat the MVP candidate Steph Curry. And even though Draymond Green had a triple double in that game, the Memphis Grizzlies hit big shots. They had a beautiful start to the game, and they ended the game in overtime in an amazing fashion as Ja Morant hit a career high. And this is why Ja Morant has the matchup over Michael Conley because, and it's funny because Mike Conley is a former franchise player of the Grizzlies, and now Conley will face his former team in the playoffs. And Memphis Grizzlies are known for having great defense, but not super great offense, but great defense. And I think their defense is going to play a part in this series, going to surprising, shocking 7 games. But the Utah Jazz will win. Why? Because Utah Jazz have players that can shoot the three in a consistent fashion. And they got one of the best shooting guard in the game. They also got the best center in the game. They also got a small forward who's a great scorer in Bogan Bogdanovic, brother of Bogdan, who plays for the Hawks. So I think the Utah Jazz will win this one in a 7 game. Next, the oh, I don't want to talk about the Clippers, man. Anyways, so the Clippers will play against the Dallas Mavericks. It's Kawhi and Paul George, Serge Ibaka against Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis. And yes, Game 1 happened last night, but we all knew how the Clippers play playoff basketball. It's like, it's not fun to watch because they struggled. Paul George did not do anything in the first half, and yes, he ended up with 25 points, but the whole game he did not do much. But for the Mavericks, it's the sky is the limit. And yes, they won game 1, but this predictions was before game 1. We know what Doncic can do. And yes, yeah, he had a triple double in the game 1 victory yesterday afternoon. But it's just time. Sorry guys, but it's time for Dallas Mavericks to take their game to the next level because it's not just Luka Doncic. It's and not because Kristaps Porzingis. It's about the other guys in Jalen Brunson, in Tim Hardaway Jr., in Maxi Kleiba, and all these guys need to step up. And for the Clippers, it's all about for the Clippers. is all about. Look at Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, because these guys, they need to take the next step. Because yes, they blew a 3-1 lead last season, and yes, they beat the Mavericks by 6. But why did they beat the Mavericks by 6? Porzingis missed Game 3, Game 4, Game 5, Game 6. He got ejected in Game 1. Luka Doncic was injured half of the, like since game 3 to game 6 he was injured. But it's not time for excuses, and you know what Clippers did last night, and they failed against the fifth seeded Mavs. And for the Clippers, they need to play better than they played last night, and they need to play better in the playoffs overall, because what you saw last night, what you saw last season, the year before, and the year after that, it's all playoff failures. So it's now the Clippers' time to reach the NBA Finals and be the real contenders, not the fake contenders that they've been always every single playoff run. Next, the Nuggets will play the Portland, and yes, Portland won game 1, but I got Denver Nuggets winning in 7 games. Why? Because they got the MVP candidate. Why? They just got more into them. Blazers are known to the Blazers are known to fail, and for the Nuggets, they're not known to fail. They're just known to not be better than the other team. And for the Nuggets, it's this X factor will be Aaron Gordon, will be Michael Porter Jr., will be Campazzo. It won't be Jokic, because you know what Jokic can give you on the floor, on both ends of the floor, and he's your best passer. And you're not forgetting that the Denver Nuggets will be without probably Will Barton in the first round, and probably will not have Jamal Murray for the whole playoff run. And I still got Denver inside it. Because you know Damian Lillard will do his thing. You know CJ McCollum will do his thing. And you still got Carmelo Anthony and Yusuf Nurkic. But they are the problem with the Blazers is that they're not consistent game by game by game. That's why I got the Denver winning in 7 games. And the last matchup of the Western Conference is between the surprising red hot Phoenix Suns playing the struggling Los Angeles Lakers. But when you play LeBron James, it does not matter if you're the first seed, second seed, third, fourth, fifth, 10, 11. Doesn't matter what seed you are. You're not playing the 7 seeded Lakers. You're playing LeBron James, AD, and the Los Angeles Lakers. You're not playing the 7 seeded Lakers. And that's why everyone keeps underappreciating LeBron James. LeBron James is one of the greatest players to ever put on a jersey in basketball. AD is one of the best big men we've been having the last seasons. The Lakers are the best franchise in NBA history, close to the Boston Celtics. But this is about LeBron James and AD. But I'm not forgetting a nominee that could be nominated for MVP in CP3, one of the top 10 point guards of all time. Not of all time, but in this era, he's probably top 3 or top 5. And they still got a young Devin Booker who has improved year after year after year. He can play defense, he can play the point guard position, he can play the 2, the 3. He scored 70 for crying out loud. This guy can go off at any moment. And for the Lakers, you have to guard that backcourt. And the thing that the Lakers don't have is a magnificent backcourt. They got Dennis Schroeder and Kentavious Caldwell Pope. And we all know that who runs the show in Los Angeles, but as in backcourts, it's Schroeder and KCP against Devin Booker and CP3. And don't forget the Suns have Jay Crowder. They have sophomore Johnson. They have Bridges. Like, they got great players. But I think the Lakers will come up victorious in 6 games. But guys, that's about it for this short segment, as I was only doing the first round predictions for the Western Conference. Once the first one is over, I will do two separate segments predicting the second round for both conferences. But since we have lots of time left, we want to recap you about the games that happened last night. The Bucks beat the Miami Heat, as I explained in my last segment, as Middleton made the game winner. The Mavericks beat the Clippers by 10. Doncic had a 31-point triple-double. The Nets, who started out slow against the Celtics, won by 11, and they were up by much as 18 points. And the Trailblazers shocked the Nuggets in Game 1, and they won 123 to 109. Tonight, going on as we speak, the Wizards are playing the 76ers in Game 1 of their matchup. The Wizards are up 77-73 with around 6.5 to go in the third. The Lakers will play the Suns at the top of the hour. The Hawks will play the Knicks at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and we will commentate that, and you can check us out. And you can tune into our commentary on Colorcast and on our Twitch channel. And also, the last game of the day is the Grizzlies and the Jazz, and their game one starts at 9:30 Eastern Time. And make sure, guys, to tune in tomorrow as we will recap the games that happened today. We'll also preview the games that's happening tomorrow, and we will also preview the game three between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens. But guys, thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, follow us on Instagram, like our Facebook page, check us out on Spotify, and thank you very much. And this is your